Hey fam, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is DeeDee. On this channel, we talk about realistic weight loss, high protein, low carb meals, meal preps that I'm making on a weekly basis, and also building sustainable habits that will fit into real life. Now, most of y'all know I done lost 95 pounds, and I love sharing meals that I ate while I was on my journey of losing that weight, and also meals that I'm eating right now to keep that weight off. In today's video, I'm sharing a simple, delicious meal prep that's gonna last for the next 4 days. And it's the kind of meal prep that I love. It helps me stay consistent. It removes that decision fatigue, trying to figure out what I'm gonna eat for dinner. And I don't have to rely on takeout whatsoever. Y'all, today we're making some thin pork loin chops that are gonna taste so good with some sauteed mushrooms and green beans. We're also gonna make some crispy pan-fried salmon with some stir-fried vegetables. Nothing complicated whatsoever, just a meal prep that works, that's realistic, and is gonna help me stay consistent on my journey. All right, y'all, you already know what time it is. Let's jump right into this meal prep. We're starting off our meal prep with these thin pork loin chops, y'all. So budget friendly. I got this package for a little bit under $6. Now, I already washed my meat. You know, I love to rinse it with a little bit of water and some vinegar before we get started. Now, we're seasoning. I put in about 2 tablespoons of total seasoning. I'm also using some onion powder, some garlic powder, some Morton's seasoned salt. Now, this salt right here is some low sodium salt. I don't really like a lot of salt. I don't like salty food, so that's why I use it. I also added a little bit of black pepper to start it off. And now all I'm doing is mixing that meat up with all of that seasoning. Y'all know I like to make sure every piece has seasoning, and I also like to pull up that seasoning that falls on the bottom of that bowl because we're not leaving any seasoning. We're not just leaving it just to sit around. So that's all I'm doing right here. And then I thought about it and I said, you know what? I need a little bit of spice in my life. Y'all know I say that all the time, but I think it's just because I like spicy food. And I'm adding a little bit of this sugar-free teriyaki marinade. I love like a little bit of sweet and salty mixture. I don't know what that taste is like for me, but it just tastes really good, that mixture of that sweet and that salty. So I added a little bit of spice to it as well, and we're gonna have a little bit of teriyaki pork chops today with our meal prep. I've mixed it in, and we're moving right over to that stove. I've had this skillet heating on medium heat, and we're just putting it in a little bit of avocado oil. Y'all know that's my choice of oil. These are thin, but we're gonna allow it to go ahead and cook for about 5 minutes on each side, or at least until they are cooked to your liking. Remember, they're thin, it won't take long, and we're gonna let it cook, and then when we come back, this is what they are looking like. We're gonna flip them around, and you see that nice brown crust that has already formed after about 5 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes. So we're just gonna flip them around, allow them to cook some more for about 5 more minutes on the other side, and then we'll be back to see what they look like. The timer just rang. Y'all, take a look at these pork loin chops. Look at that, brown and crisp on both sides, fully cooked. These pork chops are smelling so good. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and lower the heat, turn it off actually, and take these off of the stove. And we are gonna move on to our baby Bella sliced mushrooms. These are ready to go in that same exact pan. And let me tell you something, same pan means less cleanup, okay? And we are good to go because, you know, I don't like washing dishes. So all I'm doing here is allowing these mushrooms to saute for about 5 minutes. I'm also adding about a tablespoon of butter to mix in with that moisture that has come from those mushrooms. You could tell the mushrooms are softening up. They are looking good. And now the butter is just gonna add to that juice. And that's why I like to add butter. Now it's time for us to add the next veggie, and they are the green beans. I steam these green beans. They are frozen veggies. For me, frozen veggies are super convenient, but if you have the time, go ahead and grab you some fresh veggies. clip the ends and do what you do, okay? But for me, I get these frozen veggies, I go ahead and steam them, and now I'm just placing them in to soften up. It's time to season as well. We're putting some onion powder, some garlic powder, and some Nature's Total Seasoning. And those are pretty much my staple seasonings. Sometimes I add a little bit of other stuff, but today just using that and some black pepper. I'm just gonna mix it up really well just to make sure all of the seasonings are intertwined. And then we're gonna allow this to saute for about 5 minutes on this skillet, and then we'll be back. Our veggies are complete. The mushrooms are looking so good and they're nicely wilted, and the green beans are just the right amount of softness that I like. So we're just gonna go ahead and move this off of the stove, put it to the side to cool off, and let's move on to our next meal. It is time to start on the salmon. I have 4 salmon fillets right here. Now my first step is to always pat them dry. If you want crispy salmon, that is the key. Pat them dry. Now I have the salmon that has the skin on because y'all, I love that skin. I love it when the skin is seasoned nicely and is flavored. So what I'm doing here is I'm making sure that I'm patting dry the skin as well as that pan that has a little bit of moisture on it. Now once we're done patting it dry, it'll be time for us to move on to the next step. Now what I'm doing here is just adding a little bit, y'all, probably about maybe a couple of teaspoons of avocado oil on this salmon, and then I'm rubbing it on both sides, the skin side and the other side with all the meat, and then I'm placing it with the skin side up. Now I'm doing this step because this actually helps the seasoning stick on to the salmon. As far as seasoning, I'm keeping it simple. I know I always say that, but I'm just using a little bit of garlic powder, onion powder, and some Creole seasoning. Be careful with this Creole seasoning because it is a little bit salty to me. So just make sure you taste it and see what it tastes like to you. But for me, I'm using it very sparingly on this salmon. I've seasoned both sides with the garlic powder, onion powder, and just Creole seasoning. And you know I love me my spice, so I'm also going to add just a little bit of red cayenne pepper as well. Make sure you're using the seasoning that you like. All right, let's move on over to the stove. You know I have some avocado oil heating on medium heat, and now we're just gonna place the salmon right in. We're placing the skin side down, and then we're gonna leave it unbothered. We're just gonna let it go ahead and cook for about 4 to 5 minutes, and then we'll be back. I'm adding just about a tablespoon of butter to the salmon because I wanna base it in that butter. So I'm letting that butter melt into that avocado oil, and then I'm just grabbing a spoon and I'm adding that butter mixture right there on that salmon. I'm doing this to keep the salmon full of moisture while the skin is cooking on the other side. Now the skin has been cooking for about 2 to 3 minutes. I'm gonna leave it alone and allow it to continue cooking, y'all, for another 2 minutes. And after I do that, I'm flipping it over, and this is what it looks like. The skin is nice and crispy. It has that golden brown look that I'm looking for. I cannot wait to taste this salmon, y'all. I love salmon. That's my favorite fish. All right, I'm gonna allow it to cook, and when I come back, this is what it looks like. Both sides nicely crisp, both sides nicely browned. Total cook time for this salmon, about 10 minutes total. About 5 minutes on each side. Let's put this to the side and let's move on to the veggies. Once again, we have our pan heating on medium heat. I don't know why, I just love that medium heat because I don't like to burn my food. I don't like to burn it. So I had a little bit of avocado oil on it. This is some stir fry. We got some water chestnuts. We got some broccoli, some carrots, some Italian green beans. Y'all, we have everything up in this stir fry. All I'm doing is mixing it up in that oil, letting it soften, and then I'm moving on to seasoning. Same staple seasonings for me because I love that flavor. Some garlic powder, some onion powder, a little bit of total seasoning, and some of that Morton seasoned salt. That's it. And then I'm mixing all of that in with those stir-fry veggies just to make sure that it's cooking. The flavor is all up in there with that avocado oil. And we're gonna allow these veggies to go ahead and cook for another 5 minutes. What I like to do sometimes is place a cover over it. This cover has that little hole, so it won't really steam the veggies like that. It's just cooking for about 5 minutes. And when I come back, you'll see that the moisture pretty much dried up with these veggies. They are looking good and they're pretty much cooked. I like them to be softened, not super mushy. Now remember, they're frozen veggies, so the key to frozen veggies is to make sure that that moisture cooks off. I like to test it just to make sure everything is nicely cooked, not too mushy, like I said before, and that's what I just did with that water chestnut. And y'all know I wasn't about to make no stir fry without my G Hughes sugar-free stir fry sauce, okay? So I grabbed that, I put a little bit in these veggies, and I'm just mixing it in just to get that little bit of taste, that sweet taste. Not too much though. And then as I'm mixing it up, I realized, you know what? I didn't put enough. I think the first time I just put a little bit of drops in it, so I decided to add a little bit more of that sugar-free stir fry, and I'm realizing I'm running out. I am running out. So either they don't put enough in that bottle or I'm using it a lot. I need to get another bottle. So I just placed a little bit more into those veggies and I'm just stirring it in, and then I'm gonna allow it to go ahead and just sizzle in that pan for another 3 minutes. And when I come back, look, moisture done pretty much evaporated out of these veggies and they are good to go. I've already done a little taste test. It's time to let these veggies cool off before we place them in our meal prep containers because these veggies are ready to go. And it smells so good. I'm gonna put this to the side and I will be back to show you our lineup for the next 4 days. And here is our dinner lineup for the next 4 days. We are starting off with our delicious and tender thin pork loin chops with some sautéed baby bella mushrooms and some green beans. We also have our crispy salmon with our stir fry, full of variety. Both meals are high protein, low carb, delicious, and perfect for your weight loss journey. Fam, our meal prep is complete for the next 4 days. Now, once everything cools slightly, I typically seal the containers and I store them in the fridge. Now, when you're reheating, reheat in short intervals. You can actually stir the veggies midway through just to make sure it's heated up all throughout. And you can even put the salmon in the air fryer for about 3 minutes just to make sure it heats up nicely and it gives you that nice crisp. What you don't want to do is heat up the salmon too long because then it'll dry it out. These meals will last up to 4 days in the fridge and they hold up really well. Now I want to leave you with this reminder. Meal prep does not have to be complicated for it to be effective. What matters is that you planned, you cooked, and you removed that daily decision fatigue. You don't have to wonder, what am I cooking later? I don't feel like cooking. I'm tired today. Let me just grab takeout. No. You're good to go because you can just go ahead and grab that meal out of your refrigerator or your freezer if you decided to save it for later and heat that bad boy up. Y'all, when dinner is already ready, it's easier to stay consistent, especially on those days when you are super busy or feeling stressed. And that's how real progress is built. If you enjoyed this dinner meal prep, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. It really helps the channel. And as always, drop a heart to show some love and let me know in the comments below, which one of these meals are you willing to try for your meal prep? As always, thank you so much for watching and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.